So it's really wide, really long. The 360 view camera. This is where you can feel the body roll of this. It's really quiet. Hey guys, this is Jerry. Welcome to the channel. This is the Haval H6 Hybrid. The hybrid drivetrain on the Haval H6 has a starting price at 42,990 in New Zealand market. If you're looking for the top spec of this particular example, this will cost you 46,990 plus ORC for the normal retail price. If you're looking to purchase one of these in Auckland, New Zealand, contact us at Ebbett Pukekohe. We are your authorized dealer for Haval, GWM, Ultra, or the other brands. In today's video, we are going to have a quick walk around for the exterior and interior, plus point of view test drive to let you know my thoughts about this particular vehicle. In terms of exterior experience, this is over 4.6 meters long, over 1.8 meters wide, with a wheelbase over 2.6 meters. So pretty standard for a medium to large size SUV on the market. This is only available in the 5 seats configuration. So this competes with something like a Honda CR-V hybrid or Toyota RAV4 hybrid or all the other medium-sized SUVs on the market. In terms of design, I really love the front. It's got a very good sort of new look for the grille. It's definitely very different from the petrol version. I'd much prefer this particular look compared to the petrol variants, by the way. Now, these are the full LED headlights plus fog lights underneath. You also get 360 camera plus all-round parking sensors on this particular higher spec. On the side, this one has 19-inch alloys, just a silver color, multi-spoke. Nothing exciting, but this is the family car. In terms of side profile, very chunky. You can see it's quite long. The boot itself has a nice cutting line. In terms of design, there are quite a lot of chromes on the roof rails, window trims, on the side bars and underneath. You can option to a sort of blackout trim, so black wheels, black chromes, things like that. They'll cost additional, of course. At the back, full LED taillights as well. At night, they will have a full running bar. Again, looks quite cool. I like this design. I've seen the overseas market has got a new design for the tail light. I didn't like it, to be fair. I love this one much better. Anyway, on the top, some lights over here. Very unique design. Do you like it? It's okay. Underneath, there are some black trims here and there. So yeah, just the generic SUV look. It's not super exciting, but it looks okay. In terms of badge, GWM Haval H6 Hybrid means this is a hybrid drivetrain. Let's get to the tailgate. This one does have the power tailgate. Once you open this up, we can see a 600 liters boot space. So it's really wide, really long. That means loading your stuff, it's gonna be very easy. The floor loading is also reasonably low. Underneath, no space saver since this is just a hybrid drivetrain with the tire mobility kit. The second row seat goes 40-60 split. Once you drop it down, you are going to get a close to 1,500 liters boot space, and it's nice and flat. Very big space. Now let's get to the second row to see how the seats are like. First thing, the seat base is reasonably long, and seat material just a Fox leather or synthetic leather, whatever you want to call it. Stepping inside is relatively easy. So this has been set to my driving position at about 178 centimeters tall. I've got really good amount of leg room. My toe room is huge as well. No issue to stretch my legs. My headroom is great. I'm definitely not touching the roof or even the side panel either. In terms of storage, pockets over here, air vents and USB charging, which is 2 of them. And cup holder is nice and soft, squeegee again. So yeah, no issue sitting at the back. I do wish the seats can be adjusted though. There's no angle adjustment on the rear seats. If we're closing the door, sounds okay. In terms of build quality, some piano black trims over here, leather finish over here, plastic of course on the speakers, and on the top some soft or plasticky material, and in the center around here still soft leather material as well. Build quality, no issue at all. On the top, this particular spec gets full panoramic sunroof, which looks nice, and this is how the front looks like. Next, all the Haval Jolene gets keyless entry and push button start. Again, the seat looks quite comfy, it's quite wide, it's quite long, it's got electric adjustments plus lumbar support with white stitchings around the seats and the center trim. let's step inside. Alright, this is how the car looks like. In terms of steering, this is a similar shape to the Haval Julian, but the buttons is a little bit different here and there, and feels a little bit larger than the Haval Julian. And in front of us, that's a 10.25 digital dashboard. Looks really clear. There's a moving motion on the left. You can change some display on the right here and there. There will be adaptive cruise control information when you start driving, of course. This top spec also gets a nice head-up display, which is nice. There are some direct buttons on the side, and cruise control button is on the left below the steering column. In the center, this is a 12.3-inch display. It's relatively smooth to control most of the things. You can do drive mode. You can also have the 360 view camera. Just like that, it's really nice and clear. You can even have the park assist, things like that. So really good. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto are both wired through this particular system. There's no built-in navigation, but again, most people are going to use your Apple CarPlay. There are tons of settings for the safety driving part, for the comfort and convenience part. You do need to take some time to get used to it. Underneath, there are direct buttons for some of the aircon controls, but your fan speed and your temperature are all controlled through the center screen. Hazard light and cameras again, on and off for your radio, things like that. Underneath, we got wireless charging pad and cup holders, storage, gear selector and handbrake. It's nice. The good thing I really love is the deep storage console. There's good clearance over there and some USB charging in the center console too, and deep storage, which is nice. Glove box on the side, which is good as well. Build quality wise, nice soft material on the doors, so a little bit better than the rear doors, and some squidgy material over here. Then continues with some chromes, with some sort of soft leather material over here. Center console is solid, but quite a lot of piano blacks, so that means you're gonna get your fingerprints on this very easily. But yeah, overall, very pleasant to be inside in terms of feel and quality. Definitely not short compared to some competitors on the market if you compare to any Japanese and Korean brands. Alright, let's get it on the road to see how it goes. First thing, visibility on the side, pretty good. There's a small gap over here to see your blind spot. And on the side, that's good. On the rear, that's really good. The quarter window is actually huge. The rear windscreen isn't the largest. It's on the slim to medium size, so not as good as something like a Kia Sportage, but it's okay, not too bad. Let's get it on the road. The indicator stock is on the left for the New Zealand and Australian spec, by the way. Let's go through some numbers first. So in terms of the engine, this is a 4-cylinder 1.5-liter petrol motor. It's turbocharged that offers 110 kilowatts of power and 230 Nm torque on the engine alone. But of course, it's not engine alone. It's combined with a electric motor and electric battery at the back, of course. The EV motor at the back offers 130 kilowatts of power, 300 Nm of torque. So combined, you are getting a big 179 kilowatts of power with 530 Nm of torque. It is definitely huge compared to many competitors on the market. Let's say the Kia Sportage is not as powerful as this, or even the RAV4 is not as powerful as this. And driving on a condition like this, pretty smooth, like it's really easy. It's powered by a dedicated hybrid transmission. In most cases, it works like a normal hybrid, like CVT transmission or eCVT transmission. So in most city drivings under the condition like this, you are not going to get much of a delay or shifting, things like that. It works quite like a eCVT transmission. But when you drive at high speed, you may experience a little bit gear change here and there, and that will result the vehicle to, help with the acceleration. Again, at low speed, when the battery is charged, when the condition meets, you can drive the vehicle on pure EV mode without you doing anything. The vehicle automatically shifts itself to pure EV mode, which is again very handy. Alright, we have no one behind us. Let's do a quick start over here. 1, 2, 3. It's pretty smooth overall. It is quite powerful from the first start, and you can definitely feel that when you start driving the vehicle, because with the help of the EV mode, it's very strong acceleration from the start point. The vehicle does have different drive modes you can select, It is only two-wheel drive though, it is only front-wheel drive, so it's not a four-wheel drive. So that might be one of the things when you go out of the line, just be careful about the wheel spin, things like that. Yeah, we do get that, just like what we said, but overall it's pretty smooth. On normal conditions, you'll be totally fine with its power and acceleration. In terms of suspension, the vehicle has McPherson suspension struts at the front and Montelink suspension at the back. Very standard for a medium-sized SUV on the market these days. It's relatively very quiet and comfortable in terms of riding. And when you see the bumps, the car does bounce around, but you are not going to feel the shakes too much. And at low speed, the steering is very light, to be fair. Even at right now, you can feel the steering is relatively light. So it's not agile or it's not very sporty in any way. I would say if you really want a sporty SUV, the Mazda CX-5 will be one of the benchmarks on the market. But if you want something very comfortable, this will be a good choice, so to speak. Alright, another acceleration test. 1, 2, 3. I find the acceleration noise quite funny. It's quite a lot of EV boost, as you can feel. There's no real engine noise from quite like even high revs. It's quite actually fun, actually, really very quiet. Even driving on these surfaces, you're not picking up much motor noise. And you can see the EV motor is powering the vehicle right now. And then the petrol motor now kicks in. But the kicks in is very smooth, like you are not getting much of a motor noise or vibration once the petrol motor engage, and that's pretty good. Driving on these country roads, it's really rough in terms of road conditions, but the vehicle suspension is still concentrating on the soft level. It's pretty soft overall. I don't think it's that bouncy, and I would say it's a little bit more solid than the Haval Jolene on this particular surface. You can see a little bit better support here and there, and we're going to go through those corners just to see how the handling is like. This is where you can feel the body roll. Yeah, it's not very sporty, but the steering feels okay. It's fairly confident. It's alright. The traction are not the best, being just a front wheel drive. And turning on the left here is fine. Yeah, I think the steering handle is okay, just like what you expect on a medium-sized SUV. It's not too aggressive, but at the same time it's not too sort of wobbly around the corners. You wouldn't complain too much, but at the same time you wouldn't say this is a race SUV or racing SUVs. But for power-wise, it's pretty powerful. Whenever you want to take off, there's definitely a lot of power behind the wheels, and I'll be able to back you up if you need to drive like that. In terms of noise level, I think this is okay. It's very similar to the Haval Jolene. I don't think this wins or this loses against the Haval Jolene in terms of noise level on these particular surfaces. You are going to hear some tire noises. Don't think these come with the best branded tires. Wind noise is actually okay. It's not windy today, but at the same time you are going to pick up some very small noise here and there on the wind mirror. But overall, it's relatively just a standard across the range. It's not as premium or as less noise, sort of good noise reduction compared to, let's say, a Subaru Outback. But for something like a Honda CR-V, these will be very, very similar. Brakes, which is good. Again, there you get the energy recovery on the vehicle's drivetrain, so that means it will recharge the battery when you brake, when you cruise. That's really handy. Now let's go back to the normal mode just to see how it is like. One small thing that's annoying is the normal driving mode. You have to go into the center to click that instead of having a physical button located underneath. And right now, on the nice road surface, it's really quiet, as you can tell. Another thing I wish to talk about is the fuel consumption. So the power rating and the manufacturer brochure is 5.2 liter per 100 kilometers. And the good thing about these cars, you can take 91 on this vehicle. Under my colleagues' testing, I haven't really driven this car for, long time or long-term ownership, things like that, but my colleague can generally get about 6 to early 6 liters per 100 kilometers on pretty much just a standard New Zealand or Pukekohe roundabout, things like that. And at low speed, once the EV kicks in, it's just really quiet. And I love the transmission. This is a way better transmission than the Petrol H6, which has a dual clutch transmission. Definitely can't say I'm a big fan of the dual clutch under the GWM group, but this transmission works really, really well. It's smooth, quiet. There's no weird points where you accelerate it doesn't listen to you. Whenever you want to, put foot down, even normal mode, it will just go, the nose will just tipping up. So that's pretty good. It's definitely relaxing to drive under the lower speed zones. On motorway, you're going to get a little bit tire noise, but at low speed, very easy, very, very relaxing. And the pedal driving is just normal. As soon as you put the foot down, and they'll just go, just like that. There's no much hesitation. Yeah, we've been driving on EV for the last 100 to 200 meters. You barely feel anything on the motor noise. The EV motor does have a small whiny noise maybe here and there, but yeah, not to anything that's annoying at all. I think that's pretty much all I wish to talk about in this particular video. Again, if you are looking to purchase one of these vehicles, do not forget to contact us at Ebbett Pukekohe. We are the authorized dealer for GWM Haval, tank and Ultra vehicles. If you like these sort of videos, do not forget to subscribe and like. That's the best way to support the channel. As always, I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.